So today we will talk about the Earth observation satellites and two other satellites recently launched by the Indian Space Research Organization. So let's talk about. As I have already told you that why in news, if you talk about ISRO launched the Earth observation satellite, remember that the name is 4. So Earth observation satellite 4 and two small satellites popularly known as the Inspire Sat 1 and the INS 2D sat is by the pslv rocket. Remember that this is the rocket name pslv. So remember that C-25 rocket and these three satellites. First is the Earth observation satellite and two a small satellite actually launched by this pslv rocket. So remember that, and this is the first mission in 2020. So remember that. If you talk about the Earth observation satellite 4, then remember that weight, if you talk about 1710 kg, and if you talk about the mission life is 10 years, means from the 2022 to up to the 2032. So remember that. If you talk about another, remember that it is a radar imaging satellite. So Earth observation satellite is the radar imaging satellite. If you talk about designed to provide high quality images under all weather circumstances. All is very the keyword. Remember that all weather circumstances is the keyword. Provide to high imaging images related to, if you talk about agriculture, forestry, plantation, soil moisture, hydrology, and the flood management, and other areas are also the defense, which is not actually written because of the security measure, but obviously defense is also used in this Earth observation satellite. So remember that. If you talk about, it will be placed in the sun synchronous polar orbit. Remember that this is the very important. Sometimes it gives low earth orbit or sun synchronous orbit or geosynchronous orbit. So remember that this Earth observation satellite will be placed in the sun synchronous orbit by this rocket launcher. So remember that. If you talk about, as I have already told you, that it is a radar imaging satellite. So another satellite, if you talk about the Inspire Sat 1, remember that if you talk about the weight, then 8.1 kg is the weight of Inspire and mission life is 1 year. Remember that this is actually a foreign satellite and consists of many satellites inside the Inspire Sat 1. So remember that, as I have already told you, that this is a constellation of satellite, means there are the various satellites inside it. So remember that. What is the main aim? Aimed at improving the understanding of the ionosphere. Remember that there are some layers of the atmosphere which consist of troposphere, ionosphere, hydrosphere, etc. So that is the ionosphere. Part of the Earth upper atmosphere need to understand and try to understand about the ionosphere and sun's coronal heating process. So remember that this is the aim of Inspire Sat 1. Another, if you talk about Inspire 2D. So Inspire 2D, if you talk about, remember that this is under the collaboration between the India and Bhutan. So this is satellite to and precursor of another satellite. So remember that. If you talk about, it is for purpose of Earth observation purpose like assessment of land, water surface temperature, and identification of forest and tree cover. So remember that. So this is all about. If you talk about the summary of this video, remember that Earth observation satellite 4 has been launched, and there are also the Earth observation satellite 1 which is already in 2020, and Earth observation satellite 3 has been failed in November 2021 somewhere around. So this is a very important point. Earth observation satellite is basically cover the various applications, not only for the agriculture, forestry, but also for the flood management, defense sector, also the application of this. If you talk about this, all the satellite has been placed in the sun synchronous orbit. Remember the sun synchronous orbit. So thank you guys. Hope you like this video.